This is an audio test with the Ram 1500. I'm going to get absolutely destroyed by bugs because the the mosquito situation here is freaking insane. Beautiful location, well, not beautiful, it's an absolute disaster, but perfect for this thing. But oh my god. So about the title, number one, it got you to click, which frankly my wonderful joydrive channel needs. Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode. We have the Ram 1500, and number two, is not lost on me how absolutely awesome the Ram 1500 is, how awesome the Landcruiser 300 series is, and how awesome the Ranger and Hiluxes are. However, this thing is kind of just like, you get in it, you look around, you drive, and you're like, this makes sense. Just to move past the elephant in the room, yes, I have my hood up because the mosquito situation here is absolutely mental, and looking like this, frankly, is far nicer than the alternative of absolutely getting destroyed. So, 155 grand, and that is without luxury car tax, because it doesn't have luxury car tax because it classes as a work vehicle. Now, does it fix everything that I had issues with in the Ram 1500 Express? Obviously, bearing in mind that the 1500 Express that I drove was the base model, but the Laramie of the same era was also an eyeball and fingertip disappointment. Now, does this fix it? Now, this 291 kilowatt, 410 foot-pounds V8 can't compete with the diesels of the world, but goddamn, this thing moves, considering it's 6 meters and change long, 2.4 meters wide, 2 meters high, should give the competition absolutely everything to worry about. Now, as with the 1500 Express that I reviewed last time, which is actually a little bit bigger, the bed here is 5 feet 7 inches, and the Express is 6 feet something or other. And the Express can actually hold a little bit more because obviously this has all the fruit. Now, all the fruit aside, when you get down to the nitty-gritty numbers, the numbers plus what the frickin' hell goes on in the inside of this thing kind of tells the picture, right? And we'll get to that at the end of this video. So I'm going to read out these numbers just to make sure that I get them correct. Now, I've chosen the 300 series, the Wildtrak, the Raptor to compare to. Now, they're not necessarily actually in the same category as this thing. This thing, to be honest, kind of defines its own category. You've got the 1500 Silverado, but this thing blows it out of the water, so we won't even talk about it. The 300, the Wildtrak, and the Raptor are kind of the Australian staple, with the Ranger being the most sold vehicle in Australia essentially every month. Ranger and the Hilux always twin for first and second. So 300 series, GCM, which is gross combined mass. Now that's the important one, that's the trailer plus the car. So the 300 series, this is all in kilo, 6,750, the Wildtrak 6,000, the Raptor 5,300, this thing 7,700. Braked towing capacity, 300 series 3.5, Wildtrak 3.5, Raptor 2.5, this thing 4.5. Payload is where this thing is let down a little bit, but for what you get, the trade-off isn't so bad. It still fits a Australian pallet, which is all you need. Really, payload 700 kilos for this, the Wildtrak 950 and the Raptor 714, so you get 10 kilos more. Now, whilst we're back here, you'll notice that we've got these little wings up. These are Ram boxes. Now, they actually can be eskies as well. There's a little bung in the bottom. One of them has power. Now, what I will note is that the power, like a full-on plug, the power will not be available essentially from now on because of supply shortages for the plug. That's going to be blanked off. Behind me, right at the back there, which is covering my hoodies, which, by the way, are for sale on joydrive.co. Now, this cover, this Torna cover here, is folds up into three, and I'm doing this facing you guys and girls to show you how easy it is. So I'll fold that up, and over you go. You have a bed divider, you have the ram boxes, you have tie down points. Just down here is a fold out step, electric tailgate if you so want it. From the key I can raise and lower, well, I can just lower the rear of the tray so you can get things in there easily. Now, this is where this is the WTF factor, I call it. So I'm going to double tap the button on this remote here twice. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to lower. Now, it takes a little while. So while that's going, I'm going to explain why this is cool and what the benefits are, right? So I'm going to read off because this is very specific. So you've got your approach, depart, and ramp angle. Now, for the non-4B people amongst us, or the 4B people amongst us, your departure angle is this. Your ramp angle is the one in the middle, so that's your peak, and obviously the arrival angle is the front. So you can see it's going down here and it's almost complete. I'm getting attacked by bugs, so let's do this quickly-ish. Oh my god, I'm getting destroyed. Australia, man, it's freaking wild. Okay, so from this right now you shouldn't really drive it like this, but the approach angle can go from 15.7 to 24.5, and that's in degrees, so that's at the front. On the rear, it goes from 18.1 to 23.2 departure angle, and that's on the 5 settings, which I'll explain a bit later on. And the ramp angle goes from 15.7 to 22, and that's from the remote. Now, I'm starting in the back for a very good reason, because the interior is where, for me, this all just gets tied up into a neat, tiny, big package, right? Look at this legroom. These are in my driving position, absolutely ridiculous. Just here, I have heated and cooled seats, just the outers, USB, cup holders galore, a center armrest. I can recline this, so I can chill out in the back here. And it doesn't stop there. So if I hop out, I can fold this up, like so, and then there's a recess here which I can fold down flat, and this gives you just another more immense amounts of storage. It just goes on, right? And not forgetting that just under here is a more concealed storage with a bin that actually comes in and out, so you can just fill the bin up, take it somewhere, and off you go. And this is just the back. And the final pièce de résistance is this interior, right? It is mental. Huge 12.5-inch infotainment system, buttons everywhere. The only thing I don't like is the aircon is actually a little bit of a bitch to get to. You do have solid buttons here, but if you want to start adjusting like left and right and all that business, there's no hard bottoms, but I'm literally clutching at straws right now. You have a moonroof, which can do everything. You have an electronic rear access window. This storage bin is, I could probably live in here, to be fair. Just here is a conversion chart, because, you know, Americans use the wrong units of measurement. Cup holders everywhere. You have this really weird coin holder thing here. Again, it's American, so it is what it is. Your drive selections are here with all your forward drive. Your lights are here. You only have one stalk because, of course, everything is controlled by the lights over here. You have power up here, 2 USBs, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It just, you know what I mean? Like, it just goes on and on. You have all of the safety features that any car in this day and age has. The only thing I will say is the lane departure is, it just stops you from dying, which is fine, like, but it is very jerky, so don't rely on it to not crash you. It's just, you know, don't crash into that barrier, because this car is not cheap to replace. Seats are lovely. I wish the sides were a little bit bigger. They're all electric, memory, electrics everything, 19 speaker Harman Kardon sound system. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The dash here, there's like 20 million screens, right? So you've got one screen in the middle and then 4 in the 4 corners, and you can pick what each of the 4 say, down to your trans temperature, your oil temperature, your oil life, how much fuel you got left, all the range and stuff, which brings me on to fuel. It's advertised as 12.2. I don't think you're going to get that, if I'm honest. It's not as good as the outgoing generation. It still has that eco stuff, and it has this like weird hybrid system. I don't really think it's a hybrid system. I think they're just saying it just to be bleeding edge. But even then, again, I'm clutching at straws. Like, the interior is nice. This very American pattern here, which I'll show in the cinematics, is just such a wonderful place to be. And my really expensive water bottle fits in here, and it's freaking huge. It's just something else. Wireless charge, yeah, it just goes on. You get the point, right? You get the point. So I said that this is one of the final reasons that this car is just so good. The final reason is this interior, as we just went over, but couple that with the way it drives, the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way that everyone is in comfort in this car at all times. You step in, I guess my water bottle. You step into this thing, which is a big car. Let's not beat around the bush. It is a big car, and you're certainly gonna have trouble parking in car parks, but it feels so much smaller than it actually is. And as I pull out onto this road here, I have enough grunt to get up to the speed limit and then just chill out. And then what's going to happen is that as I get up to speed, the 4 airbags are going to lower down from one of its 5 positions down into aero mode, which is one up from entry and exit mode. You then have normal mode, off-road 1 and off-road 2. The majority of this video, the cinematics, has been in off-road 2, apart from a few scenes which has been in the lowest setting, if that helps you determine how high and how low it goes. The steering wheel is wonderful, it's heated, the seats are comfortable, heated and cooled, the infotainment system is really good. I don't particularly enjoy the fact that a lot of the settings are hidden behind a touchscreen, because as you're driving, the whole distraction factor comes in. You do actually have to know what you're doing. Obviously with time that's going to become second nature. The moonroof is fantastic. Looking over my left shoulder, the sheer size of that rear window is absolutely mental. I had a friend in the back there, I stuck my hand back and we were literally just touching fingertips. The space inside this cabin is ridiculous. The other thing inside this cabin, which as you can hear from the audio, is how quiet it is. I have no ambient sounds, the radio's off, the windows are up, and it is so freaking comfortable and so usable in this cabin. It actually blows my mind. The dash is super easy to read. It's as rugged as you would expect from an off-roader utility vehicle. You have your adapter here for power. You have USB ports absolutely everywhere, including USB-C as well, which is really awesome to see. Your dash can have your oil, your trans temp, your oil temp, pressure, all of the things that you need to make sure that when you do take this thing off-road, that it's behaving as it should. Now, talking about off-road, this isn't designed to go off-road, and it definitely shows. Those 22-inch wheels, whilst they look fantastic, they are not off-road wheels. You will scratch those very, very quickly, and you will be very, very upset with that fact. You have four-wheel drive high, low, and four-wheel drive auto as well. Now obviously it has to be in neutral to select them, and it does take up to like 30 seconds to select the four-wheel drive. Obviously everything's electronic, and that's fine. You're not going to be needing that in a hurry instantly. Now as I'm just about to turn onto the freeway here, visibility is great. Now obviously it is a high car, there's no getting around the fact. It's almost 6 meters long, literally 6 meters with change essentially. So don't be thinking you're driving around a Barina, but it's just such a comfortable place to be, and the speeds this thing can do and how stable it is frankly mind-boggling. Like, it's just, yeah, obviously within legal speeds up to the 110 km/h speed limit that you can get on the ye old country roads. Alright, and just as we slam our brakes on for the red light, I could have easily made that, but I just wanted to demonstrate the brakes. Brakes are fantastic feel. The accelerator pedal, when you pull away, it is very sensitive, so just bear that in mind. It's very easy to yeah, go a little bit faster than you think you are. But driving position, seating, sound, practicability, like everything that a normal reviewer would talk about, this thing does by the bucket load. And as we pull onto the freeway, there goes my water bottle again. We will now, considering this is a 2.5 ton truck, whatever you want to call it, it gets up on boogies. And I hope the sound come across on camera too. I don't believe there's anything played through the speakers in this Ram. That has caught me out before. I haven't found anything in the documentation or online that says anything's played through the speakers. And to be honest, I don't think the Americans would take too kindly to that. So I'm pretty sure what you hear is how it sounds, which in my book. And as I sit back and relax with the adaptive cruise control on, which tells me there's a car in front and a car behind. As mentioned, the lane keeping assist is more of a don't kill yourself functionality rather than anything self-driving, so I've got that turned off. But I'm sure you're wondering what my overall thoughts on this car are. So let's jump back to the outside, finish this video off. So, if you can't tell already, the final verdict is I absolutely love this thing. It's just, before you drive one and before you actually experience one, you kind of, you see it and you're like, what's the point? What is the point of this? I can just buy a Cruiser, I can just buy a Ranger, I can just buy a Patrol. But this thing, it just makes sense. The power is useful, it's not mental, but it's still got some poke to it. Just the little things like the side step that come out when you get in. Obviously it's no rock slider, but it's just, they thought about it, right? It's just the perfect height to step up and step into the car. It looks friggin' awesome. Now, you can't get away from the fact that this is $155,000 worth of on-road car, but it looks the piece, it drives the piece, it sounds the piece, it does absolutely everything you could ever ask from it. You can go on road trips. It can keep your rear passengers comfortable with the heated and cooled seats. The storage bins, absolutely everywhere. The tray is just such a well-rounded package that, to me, if I had 155 grand spare, well, number one, I'd buy an NSX. If I had another 150 grand spare, to be honest, this would be at the top of the list. Looks good, sounds good, will be extremely useful every day of the week, isn't too big, and is an absolute joy to drive, own, and look at. And I have to give a huge thank you as we end today's video to Nathan at Wanneroo Ram. I again have my hoodie up because of the bugs. So if you could like, subscribe for me putting all this effort and safety into this video for you guys and girls, that'd be much appreciated. If you are interested in this car or any other Ram, head on up, down, wherever you are in WA to Wanneroo Ram. Ask for Nathan, tell him joydrive sent you, and he will help you out an absolute bunch. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video, or of course go watch this video or hit the subscribe link because that helps me out, and go buy some hoodies too, joydrive.co. I'm gonna go.